Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made whether perceived or unperceived by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. And we now have the Fall River Planning Board's meeting, Tuesday, May 28th, 2019, 5:30 p.m. Item number 1. And that is the re-endorsement of requests Form A file number 18-1425. This item was previously approved for endorsement on December 17th, 2018. Mylar has been picked up but had not been recorded, and a new Mylar has been provided requesting endorsement.
Yes, the applicant picked the Mylar up and has subsequently lost it. So we are looking at signing a new one. It is the same as what was endorsed prior. Therefore, I'm recommending that you vote to endorse the plan.
Is this the plan for 18-1425?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And do I have a second? Can we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed? No one. Item number 2, we have applications for endorsement of plan not believed to require approval, Form A plans. And the first one is file number 19-1433. The owner applicant is the Roman Catholic Bishop of Fall River. The location is 84 and 120 Beatty Street. Assesses lot L-2-0009.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. On the project, the application received a variance in February. That variance has been recorded, and it was for a reduction of frontage and lot area for parcel 1. Therefore, Beatty Street is a accepted public way of adequate width and depth, and the proposal can be, I recommend approval because it meets the frontage requirement due to the variance being issued.
Okay, any?
I have a comment on this one.
Comment? Yes.
Particularly, with all due respect to my friends in the planning board, but for reason mine, I will abstain on this particular Beatty Street because the Roman Catholic Bishop of Fall River. So I will be staying not to vote.
Okay, that is noted. Do I have any other comments on this item?
What's that,
I abstain.
Because of what reason?
Well, a reason because this is my church,
Oh,
and it's been a big issue and affect my family and so on. So really detailed. I personally feel that's like 5B. For example, for my dad who sell the house, and suddenly have to get out, and then of course be back for support myself. I don't think it's the same, but that you asked me for the reason, that's my reason, so I will abstain on this one.
And I'll make a motion that you deny this Form A.
It meets the requirement. You would have to state a reason why it does not
Well,
meet
it
the
says,
requirement.
What does it say? It says, that I really don't need us to
Well,
vote on.
this is called approval not required. So you're making a determination that this is not a subdivision under subdivision control law. And the only requirement that you have to find is that it meets the frontage requirement on a street of adequate surface and width. Beatty Street is an accepted public way, so that meets that requirement. And the frontage requirement has been waived by the Zoning Board of Appeals. Therefore, it meets the requirement for approval not required. I strongly advise to not deny it because there's no grounds and reason to deny it because it meets the requirement of approval not required.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? In favor? Aye.
Abstain.
Abstaining? 1.
3-1.
Yes, it passes. And B is file number 18-1434. The owner applicant again is the Roman Catholic Bishop of Fall River. This location's on 420 Bradford Avenue, assesses lot G-04-0027. Do we have any comments on this?
Yeah, what are they gonna do with this lot?
I'm probably gonna sell it for a residence. It's on the corner of Eagle and Bradford.
Yeah, I know where it is.
They did receive a variance on February 21st. Eagle and Bradford are both public ways and provides adequate frontage, and the variance requirement was to the 100 foot frontage requirement and the 10,000 square feet. That was issued, therefore I'm recommending approval because it meets the requirement.
I make motion to approve file number 18-1434 for Roman Catholic on Bradford Avenue.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed?
None opposed. Item passed. And item number C is file number 19-1435. The owner applicant in this is Hanover MOB LLC. Location 235 Hanover Street, assesses lot M-16-0031.
Yes, what the applicant is doing is, you see parcel 1 is the 1.3 acre parcel where the Hanover Street building footprint is. Down a little bit to the bottom, to the south, they are adjusting the property line and creating a, essentially the Fall River Jewish Home Inc. has built an encroachment, and instead of demolishing it and moving it, Hanover has agreed to adjust the property line around the encroachment, so that will be all on the Fall River Jewish Home Inc. property. So it's strictly a lot line adjustment. There's no frontage changing. Hanover Street's an accepted public way, and it's merely just jogging the property line to get rid of the encroachment.
Right.
You can see it right.
Yes, right here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right there where your finger is, Mario. That's the
Yeah.
encroachment.
Yeah.
So this is just to clean up a title issue and the encroachment. I'm recommending approval.
Any conversation? And I have a
It
motion?
meets all of the requirements.
Yes. Motion?
I make the motion to approve. Sorry,
Second.
I was looking at you.
I'll make,
Okay, I make motion to approve file 19-1435, Hanover Street, Marble LLC.
Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. All set with that. And item number 3, we have a legal notice deposit. It's discussion of requiring a deposit to cover the cost of newspaper legal notices for public hearing applications.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairperson. What we're looking at doing is the newspaper ads, some of very few proposals under the planning board, these Form As don't require newspaper ads. things like the street discontinuance, street acceptances, any public hearing items, subdivisions, which, we do not get a lot of, require the public notice ads. Typically there's a line item in my budget, and that line item has, gets depleted almost every year. What we are looking at proposing is requiring a deposit. This is not a fee. Under Mass General Law, Chapter 53G and a half, the boards can set up a deposit requirement. So what I'm looking at proposing with the Planning Board, the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the Licensing Board is we will set up a fee, or we will set up a deposit requirement for an applicant. They pay the application fee, which is to process the application and goes to help paying staff, and it doesn't cover staff, but it supplements it. And then we would have a separate deposit that is taken in to cover the cost of the legal ads, and any funds left over under the law are then refunded back to the applicant. So it is not a fee, it is a direct reimbursable deposit. So it is for a specific purpose. I wanted to bring that up, and I wanted to look at enacting it at the beginning of the fiscal year, and I would add some language at the next meeting to hold a meeting regarding your policies and procedures and outlining the deposit requirement. And there's very few applications that this board gets that do it, but if you look at it, it's almost a $25,000 line item in my budget, in the planning department budget. So, and the boards have to put this under their procedures, how they're going to collect the deposit. The deposit is a direct reimbursable. It pays the newspaper ad. Anything left over is refunded back to the applicant.
But still, it's a sort of a fee that the applicant will pay for. Even so, that says it was $50 and you spend $35. The 15 goes back to the applicant.
But it's more like a legal ad is $175 to $200.
No, basic one,
Right.
I'm
Right.
get it.
Yes.
So this is a fee. Are we allowed to do that? Don't I
This
have
is
to go
not-
from the city council?
This is not a fee. This is a deposit. Fees are levied and go to the general fund. So a fee for an application is accepted, it gets in, it gets deposited, and it goes to the general fund. This is not a fee. This is a direct reimbursable. So what we are doing is we charge a deposit, we put the newspaper ad in, it's for a specific purpose. Whatever is not used is then refunded back to the applicant. And a lot of the communities do this.
If I understand correct, still it's not the full amount that the applicant will get back.
The applicant only gets back what's left
Balance,
over
the money.
minus the cost of the legal ad.
I don't have any problem. My problem is to understand, is this, again, is the applicant will pay a fee, what cost?
The applicant will put a deposit down with us for the cost of the legal ad.
You stated that we weren't the only board that was considering this, that there were other boards. What other
I'm looking at doing
towns?
that, well, the three boards that make up the legal budget in the planning department are the licensing, zoning board of appeals, and planning board. Currently, Conservation Commission requires the applicants to do their own legal ad. So, and this is standard, most communities do the separate deposit for the legal ad, and then they take an application fee.
Okay, so long as it's legal, and as you explain, we are the first one,
No, you're the last board I've talked to. I've already talked to the, vice versa. I've already met with the licensing board, and I've already met with the zoning board of appeals, and then I'm meeting with the planning board, and then I'm gonna write up the procedure.
I hate to be the last one.
Yeah. How were
Okay.
their feelings, the other two boards?
The licensing board was fine with it. The zoning board of appeals wanted some additional information. They just wanted to see, because several of the, couple of the members on the zoning board are attorneys, and towns do it somewhat differently. Sometimes towns take a deposit and then do the refund. Some towns write up the legal ad, give it to the applicant and make them publish it, which is, but it's still, the cost is on to the applicant for that specific legal ad. So they wanted me to gather up, so I was gonna check with the surrounding towns and also the cities, New Bedford and Taunton and Attleboro, and say, here are the 2 or 3 ways that these communities deal with it, and this is the way I'm recommending. But in the end, it's the direct cost of the legal ad will be the responsibility of the applicant.
Okay, so motion will be carry on to a legal notice of development.
No motion.
No.
It would be, when I write up the procedure, then you would vote on adopting the procedure. This is just to let you know that where we are, and I didn't want it to surprise you. I wanted you to understand what we're talking about and what it was.
But for me personally, you'll have my support.
Okay.
Okay, so this item is actually tabled till the next meeting, right?
It's just it'll be a separate item. It'll be I'll have a separate item regarding procedure changes.
Okay, very good. All set? Yes. And item number 4 is the approval of the minutes of the April 23rd, 2019 meeting. Do I have a motion?
Right, to approve minutes. Right?
Yes, to approve the planning board minutes.
Yes.
It's very, very quiet today.
I think it's the weather,
A second, a second.
putting a damper on things.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, there's no one opposed, so approved. There is no one here for public input, and so we have vote to adjourn.
I'll make a motion. Adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.